The Follower by Eugene Mathena. In the year 1871, an intrepid explorer named Mr. Fiero stumbled upon an ancient cave deep within the American wilderness. Inside, buried beneath centuries of dust and rock, he discovered a relic from a forgotten age, a strange device that pulsed with an eerie light. He named it the Keystone device, though he had no idea of its true nature. As Mr. Fiero studied the device, he came to a shocking realization: it had the power to manipulate time itself. Driven by curiosity, Mr. Fiero spent years mastering the Keystone device, bending time to his will. His life took a fateful turn when, in 1875, he was transported to a quaint photography studio in New Orleans. There, he encountered Mary Jane Farmer, a photographer with a sharp wit and an unquenchable thirst for adventure. The two kindred spirits quickly became partners, united by their shared desire to explore the mysteries of time and space. Together, Mr. Fiero and Mary Jane embarked on a series of incredible adventures, witnessing the rise and fall of ancient civilizations, traversing distant galaxies, and even battling the dreaded giant flea monsters of death on the outer rim of the universe. Armed with the Keystone device, they barely escaped the monstrous creatures, trapping them in a time loop before returning to Earth. However, in the year 2024, their journey took a dark turn. A powerful and ancient being had resurfaced: Father Time, the keeper of time's most dangerous secrets. Once thought to be a mere legend, Father Time was very real, and his intentions were nothing short of catastrophic. His plan was to resurrect one of history's most feared figures, Herman Webster Mudgett, better known as H. Holmes, the infamous serial killer. By sending Mudgett back to the late 1800s, armed with future knowledge and technology, Father Time intended to rewrite history in his favor, plunging the world into chaos. Mr. Fiero and Mary Jane quickly found themselves locked in a desperate race to stop Father Time. Along the way, they discovered a mysterious figure who had been tracking them, Billy the Kid. But this was no ordinary outlaw. Billy, at 164 years old, had been traveling through time for centuries, evading Father Time's grasp. He had been using an ancient artifact similar to the Keystone device, which allowed him to leap through time, forever altering the course of history. At first, tensions ran high between the trio, but eventually, Mr. Fiero, Mary Jane, and Billy joined forces. Together, they launched a daring plan to prevent Father Time from resurrecting Mudgett and unleashing him upon the past. Their journey took them across time and space, from the lawless plains of the Old West to the dark alleyways of 1920s Chicago, and even into the far reaches of the future. But despite their best efforts, they were too late. Father Time succeeded in raising Mudgett from the dead, bringing the infamous killer back to life with knowledge and power far beyond anything the world had ever seen. In a final, desperate battle, Mr. Fiero, Mary Jane, and Billy confronted Father Time and Mudgett in a hidden laboratory deep within the sands of time itself. Mudgett, now a twisted force of nature, sought to reshape the 19th century into his own personal empire of fear. But Billy, with his own mastery of time travel, had a plan. Using the combined power of the Keystone device and his own artifact, Billy created a temporal disruption, trapping Mudgett in a bubble of frozen time. It seemed as though they had won, but victory was short-lived. As the temporal cage formed around Mudgett, Father Time unleashed his final trick. With a wave of his hand, He opened a portal, a swirling vortex of time itself. Before they could stop him, Father Time made his escape, disappearing into the portal with a chilling smile. His destination, the Kingdom of Time, a hidden realm where he ruled as its master, controlling the very fabric of existence. As the portal closed behind him, Mr. Fiero, Mary Jane, and Billy stood in stunned silence. They had defeated Mudget, but Father Time had eluded them once again, escaping to his secret kingdom where time bowed to his every command. The battle was over, but the war had only just begun. Mr. Fiero and Mary Jane knew that Father Time's escape was not the end, but the beginning of a far greater conflict. Somewhere, in the depths of his kingdom of time, Father Time was plotting his next move, waiting for the right moment to strike. And when he did, they would be ready. With Billy the Kid as their unlikely ally, they would face Father Time again, wherever and whenever he chose to emerge. As they watched the sky darken, a quiet resolve formed between them. Time was not on their side, but with the keystone device in hand, they were prepared for the next chapter of their journey. Somewhere, the clock was ticking and Father Time was waiting for their return. The next battle with the elusive master of time was inevitable. As Mr. Fiero and Mary Jane watched Billy ride off into the sunset one last time, they knew their adventures were far from over. The mysteries of time and space were endless, and so long as they had the Keystone device, they would continue to explore them. Until then, they would be ready, always ready for the next adventure, the next journey through the endless corridors of time, together.